Hello students of HKILA, it's Miss Paula here and I'm going to talk to you about recycling paper. This week's Story Detectives, we did a book called The Giant's Loo Roll. So those of you who are in Story Detectives will have looked at this book with me, and I put the assignments onto the Google Classroom. But one of the things that the story talks about is recycling paper and not wasting paper. Now, paper is normally made out of trees. So when we're using paper, we're actually depleting our planet's resources of trees. So one way we can address the balance is when we've finished with the paper, well, we can reuse it, which is one of the things we do at school. We make sure if it's only been used on one side, we set it aside into a scrap paper box so that we can use that paper and make sure we've used it on both sides. But when we've done that, we can then recycle the paper. The paper is then taken to a factory and it's pulped down and mixed with water and it's made into new paper again. But actually, if we want to, we can make our own recycled paper. So that is something that I have tried to do here, and it's actually quite straightforward. I'm going to show you. So here we have some paper, and I have made this using scrap paper that we had in our classroom, paper that we've used. We've used both sides of it, so we've definitely got our use out of it. And then we have put it into our recycling. So to make this paper, I've got a video to show you how to do it. The first step is you get your recycled paper. So anything that you've already used, a piece of paper that you've used on both sides, and you think, okay, this paper, here, I'll give you another example. This piece of paper has been used on both sides, it's all scribbled all over, and I'm going to put that in the recycling. Normally in our classroom, we will take it and put it over here into our recycling bin, whatever we call this. And when this is full, we take it to the recycling. I think that's a job for some of our eco warriors in school. So this gets full quite quickly with all the paper that we recycle. So instead of just putting this in the recycling this week, I shredded up some of this paper using a shredder, and I tore some of it up into small pieces and cut it into small pieces. And then I mixed it with water, put it in the blender, rolled it out, and we made some recycled paper. Now this paper, it looks very rustic and it's actually really nice to touch. It's got a really nice sort of texture to it, and if you look at it to the light, you can see little flecks in it because the paper that I used to make this recycled paper was all different colours. So actually it's really pretty because you can see little flecks of different colours in there. And if you want to really make this recycled paper yourself, you can do it in lots of different ways. You can put food colouring in to make it to dye it if you like. You can even put things like glitter in there if you want to. You can deliberately make it very speckled by making sure you mix a strong colour in with a pale colour. But this was just, I had just had a go at doing this, and it is real paper. It's so fun because you can actually write on it. So I'm going to write, in fact I don't want to spoil that piece, I'm going to write it on this little piece that fell off. I'm going to write paper. See, ooh, I can actually write on it. It's a little bit bumpier than normal paper, but if you can see, hang on, it's a bit tricky to do this because I've only got one hand. I can actually write on it, and it doesn't leak into the paper. So it actually does work as paper, and it's fun because you can use this kind of paper because it's a little bit different. It's quite fun to use it in art projects, or if you're making a card for somebody, or if you just wanted to do something where the paper looks a bit unusual, say if you want to write somebody a message or draw a treasure map or something interesting like that, then this kind of paper will really give it that extra rustic and natural look because it is actually, you've made it yourself. So I have to say, there is a certain feeling of pride of making your own paper, because I wasn't sure whether this was going to be difficult to do, but it was actually super easy. So on the next video, I'm going to show you how we did it. Miss Christy and Miss Jodie helped me to mush all the paper up, and we needed to put it onto a mesh sheet. So I shall show you the sheet. Now I got this, oops, I explained this on the other video, but I'll just go through it again. I bought this from the shop in the plaza that is next to the dance shop. It's called Treasure, I think it's called Treasure House. And they had this in packets, and it's just a mesh sort of fabric. You don't have to use this. There are other types of material that you can use. And if you have a look on YouTube and search in how to make recycled paper, you'll get all sorts of ideas on how to do it. Some people use a frame. Now, because I didn't have a frame, I wanted to see if it would just work with this, and it did. So if you can't get hold of something like this, another thing that you could maybe try is maybe if you've got some sort of sieve material, you could maybe try, or anything that's kind of got some holes in, because you need to have the water to run through it. You might have like a cooling rack or something that you use for cookies or something like that. Have a go with that. I experimented with a few different ways of doing it, and I personally think this was the most successful. So that's all you need, a piece of this and some sort of tray to put it in. And then of course you need old paper that you're going to recycle. And apart from that, all you need is some water. You can, if you have a blender, then you can use a blender which will make a pulp. You don't actually have to have a blender. You can use a pestle and mortar, or you can just really rip up the paper very, very carefully with your hands. And another thing that will help you to make this a little bit faster is using an iron. So this is not an activity that you can do completely on your own. You will need an adult to help you. Because if you want to use the iron, which speeds up the drying process very much, then you will need an adult to help you, and you might of course also need an adult to help you with the blender. But if you look at our next video, then you'll see how simple the process is. So I hope you can have fun, guys, making this lovely material. It's so pretty, I really don't want to write on it, but proving to you that you can write on it, I've written the word write. And I've written the word paper there, and it feels really nice, got lovely texture, and I think it's a really fun idea to make. So good luck with that, and I hope you can make some recycled paper of your own. Okay, thank you, bye bye.